Oh,
Sorry, have you started yet?
yeah. Sure.
And
Okay.
then so there was another document. I'll have to just pull it up and show you.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. Conservation Commission meeting for Thursday, February 13th, 12 o'clock here at Town Hall Boardroom, second floor. It is going to call the meeting. It is 12:07 and we'll start with roll call. First, Robin Bates Mason here.
USAC here.
And Silvio here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Susan Schweitzer's not here, and then we are working, Deanna Carlson is working in the Board of Selectmen on filling the position that was held by Linda Andros. I don't think we have anyone here for public comment. We have Katie Owsley here from Planet New Canaan in the room, but she is on the agenda. Not on the agenda, but I just wanted to say after the passing of our Commissioner Linda Andros that there will be a town proclamation in Linda's memory on Earth Day, making Earth Day 2025 also Linda Andros Day. And there'll be a tree planted in her memory at New Canaan Nature Center, which is being donated by Jen and Peter Cipriano of Copia Home and Garden up in Vista, New York. Okay, so approval of the regular minutes from December 12th, 2024. I just had a few comments on it. The first is that to make the change from submitted by my name to and your name as secretary. And then as well for the January 9th minutes. Oh, sorry. One other thing for the December minutes is that the person who was the guest had public comment regarding leaf blowers. His name is John Seal, S-E-E-L. So John Seal. So I'm okay with approving those minutes with those changes. Any other
Nope.
changes?
No other changes here.
Right, all in favor? Aye, no opposed. Okay, and then for the January 9th, I just as well, it just said submitted by Ann Silvio Treasurer, just change it to secretary. And that was, I saw something that said Robin Bates Mason or Tiger Man were discussing.
Okay.
I don't know if
I'll do a quick fact check.
just and.
Okay.
I don't know if that matters.
Okay.
And that's it. And so I would say, any other discussion on those minutes?
Nope.
Okay, so I'd move to approve those
With those two changes, yeah.
with those two changes. Second, John Fusick, all in favor? No opposed? Okay, I've got no public comment. I've got no, we already did that. No one's here. So Tiger's going to be a little late. So I'm wondering if we should, if it's okay to switch up our agenda a little bit. Next on the agenda is the Bristow update. I don't think there's anything for Tiger to add. I can ask him later. I walked through it the other day. The only issues I saw was near Old Stamford Road, there's a drainage and sometimes it's getting blocked up with the leaves. Chris Shipper's been going and physically moving the leaves so the water runs into the pond. I think that's something if commissioners and obviously the Friends of Bristow are watching that. And if we just continue doing that, I think that'd be fine. It's just leaves and sediment that's building up.
Does that need something more than watching?
There's a special,
Baffle.
well, this thing that will, so it diverts the water if it's too much over to the side, and maybe Tiger should be here because I can't explain it, but like literally it's like leaves are getting in the way of like the tunnel that when it goes under, and you've just got to like get a stick and move them, and then all of a sudden the water goes through. So it's kind of just looking at it and watching at it. Yeah.
It's clear. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think, I mean, when leaves come down, there's on the agenda as well, the new signage estimates. Sarah Herring of New Canaan Land Trust has been working on this. She did get estimates for $1,800. However, it wasn't correct what the signs were going to be. So she is working on that. So she's going to go back on that. So I was wondering if that was Tiger. So there's no update on that as of yet. Let's see, because Katie, you're here, but we need Tiger here. He's coming late. Land acquisition fund is probably going to be a longer discussion. I would say if no one's opposed that we go to number 9, Environmental Coalition, while we are waiting on Tiger.
Sure.
It's all approved.
Mhm.
I don't know if I have to go through a process, but I'll be told afterwards if it's wrong. Environmental Coalition update, and you go to those meetings, correct?
I missed
The
the
what?
January meeting.
Okay, so the coalition, I've heard this from Mickey Port. I wasn't at the meeting either. They have a Google doc of all the member organizations. So they have Earth Day month for April, and they're listing all of the programs that are happening, whether it be Grace Farms has something, Plant New Canaan has something, the Fix It Cafe, Nature Center, Land Trust, everyone who's doing something. So it doesn't, trying to keep them so people aren't having the same events on the same day. So that's the information. Mickey Porta, who is running that group, has asked that if anything's coming up from any sustainable garden or land trust open space organization, that they reach out to her. Obviously, it's not required. It's just they're hoping to work together with organizations. Any
What can
other
we do around that?
around
Right.
Earth Day?
That plan.
Earth Month, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
how can we help?
Well, at the meetings, it's easier for we're the commission, but it's easier for the nonprofits to run programs. We don't have a budget to do anything like that. We are doing something, I would think, as the commission with going to the Nature Center for the proclamation for Linda Andros, and it will be a native tree planted at the Nature Center. In terms of helping, just getting the message out, helping the library, I think, working with them to get that information out there.
Okay, maybe we could work with the newsletter people too.
Yeah, no, so absolutely, Pam Flynn, Tucker Murphy or Pam Flynn should be the person to reach out with. And if you could reach out to Mickey and get the information, that would be something great for the April newsletter, which they're probably starting to work on very soon, about all the events that are going on within town. I think that's a great idea.
Maybe just reaching out via the commission and saying, if there's anything they want us to do, just let us know.
Well, Mickey did ask that we mention it here.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right. But just make it as circular as possible.
Yeah.
Because sometimes other people will think of things, how we can be helpful that we may not think of.
Absolutely. Okay.
What about our April commissioner meeting? Is there any,
The meeting itself, yeah.
the meeting itself is the place where our business is done. Could we?
Outside, I don't know.
Could be cold still in April, and hard to get the Zoom link
True.
outside. Definitely we can, I would say for the March meeting, think of some ideas, and then so we can pop it on the March agenda for what to do in April.
Okay.
But I would like to, invite all the commissioners to the tree planting for Linda.
Okay.
She had been working, she'd really wanted to do something for Earth Day as the commission, so we'll work on that. But I think this environmental coalition is really on top of that. Katie, I know you're here. I don't know if you want to chime in. You haven't made those meetings either, but they've been working on.
Yeah, Mickey's done a great job of sort
Yeah.
of linking everyone together.
Yeah. So it's got there. So any more questions or discussion on the environmental coalition update? Okay, it's gonna be. Where's Tiger? Next is Sustainable Connecticut Team Update. If you're familiar, New Canaan had received certification through Sustainable Connecticut. We received bronze certification. At the time, they only had bronze or silver. I was on the team. I stepped off because of other commitments. But now I've spoken with our first selectman, and I've said that I would rejoin, but not chair it. So we're looking for members who would be interested. If unfamiliar with Sustainable Connecticut, there's a series of actions you need to complete. in order to get either bronze, silver, or gold certification. Other area towns are involved, but it also gives us access to their Sustainable Connecticut matching grant funds. It's not a lot of money, but it is enough that, actually some of the grants are bigger now than $7,500. So what they would do is if you raise $7,500, they would match $7,500. So some of the programs the town that has been done by this is native trees planted at Waveney Park, the pilot program, the food scraps at the transfer station, the food scrap stations at Mayfair, and the Cam Hutchins pollinator garden. And I'm missing one more, but now they do require a budget. So who can apply for these grants as long as they are a New Canaan organization and New Canaan resident, they don't need to be a nonprofit, they can just be an individual. They have to have a budget. So if someone says, I want to raise $7,500 for them and get a $7,500 match, if they only raise $2,000, Sustainable Connecticut says, well, that's great, that was wonderful, good for you, but you're not getting any grant money. They're not getting even $2,500 because they want realistic
Right.
budgets. So I would say the point of this discussion is that if you know of someone or if you're interested in being part of this team, we're supposed to meet quarterly, and what it does, and anyone else out in the community interested certainly can contact me at robin.bates-mason@newcanaanct.gov. And then it's the Board of Selectmen. It's actually the first selectman who then, per the resolution to be part of Sustainable Connecticut, that forms the team.
Is there a fixed number of people?
No, there's not. And it's
It's a bit
not a
flexible.
committee. It's not a commission. It's not even a committee.
yeah.
It's a team.
That's
So
it.
no, there's not a fixed number. And it is on, the old team is currently on the newcanaan.info website. And so it needs to be updated. The application, I will say, is kind of tedious.
The application for the grants? or-
No, for the certification, sorry. The
The application
application for
for
the grants is
certification.
really
Okay.
not difficult at all. So any questions on that or
As we start to think about people who might be interested.
interested? So,
Is there a website that Sustainable CT has?
Yep,
that we
there's a
can direct them
website for
towards?
Sustainable.
Okay.
You can get more information from them.
Yeah. As people think about it, it'd be a good reference touch point.
Yeah, so some of the people who probably remain on it would be like Bill Flynn, who's the
Mhm.
executive director of the Nature Center. I think Aaron Leflin was on it at one point, who was the former Land Trust executive director. And then we have some town employees who are on it, like Kathleen Holland, who's of Wetlands. So yeah, so it's probably time to revive that because and some of the if anyone's familiar, there's something called an equity action that has to be done. And it's really just a meeting, and you don't have to complete anything. We did an equity action during the pandemic about the farmers market, because we thought people wanted to go to the farmers market, especially seniors. And we found out seniors did not want to go to the farmers market. They didn't want transportation. They wanted to know the information, what was going on, because that's when you had the
Mhm.
drive-through and then the check-in. And so it was interesting that we had this narrative that we were going to help people, and then we realized they didn't want that help. So there are things like that, that's part of it. It's not all just sustainability. There's arts as part of it as well, though it is mostly sustainability.
Gotcha.
Okay, so any more questions or discussions on that? Nope. I'm gonna see what Tiger is. So speaker program. Do you want update?
Yes, I've shared with you, do you have access to your government email here? John, do you have access to your email?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I've shared with both of you a document, which I've been trying to show on Zoom, but for some reason, the meeting ID is not working for me to join the Zoom from my computer. So you want to pull up that document real quick. It's called Conservation Commission Public Discussion Calendar. And this is basically an idea for using our meetings, some portion of our meetings for public education and discussion
Mhm.
around relevant topics that we choose in advance and invite speakers to talk on. And what it allows us to do, I mean, Robin, you're really already doing this, I think. But if we have a calendar like this, we can notify the public in advance that we're going to be talking about bird migration or, open space preservation or development or low impact development or dark skies, and invite the public in to talk on these issues and also listen in on the experts. I don't know how much of each meeting we want to devote to these things or whether it should be every meeting. But I think because most of our business is done in the context of these public meetings,
Mhm.
it makes sense to sort of have a calendar of speakers lined up and also try to generate news coverage of those conversations and invite people to come talk about them. I think limiting ourselves to what's been, written in the POCD is important because we know that's already aligned with the public's, public comment and the town council's desire, their aspirational, list. I've laid out some ideas for the next few months and it's ready for the council to sort of dig in. And I know you have some preferences on how we talk to each other or, about a document. I was thinking that March could be bird migration. And Frank Gallo, is he the one who so
He's at the Nature Center. Actually, I saw him this week. We had had a program with him.
great,
But yeah, he's the quote bird guy.
great. So
More than that, but he's the bird guy.
it's obviously contingent upon their availability and willingness to come talk. So this is, it has to be a living document. But it'd be great to get some birders in. There's this father-son duo that's been written about. They seem great. And moving ahead on dark skies, Sarah Carey has already agreed to come talk to the commission at some point about existing town rules. And Lights Out Connecticut is highlighted in the POCD. So I thought the founder of Lights Out could come and talk about the sort of lighting programs. We also have some residents who have said they wanted to come in and talk about this. For firefly season, I think it starts peaking in June.
Mhm.
And other groups have had Dr. Sarah Lewis, who's an expert in this. So this is going to take some work to line up people to talk. But Bill and Mary Ellen McDonald.
Bill is an expert.
Okay.
He's
So maybe that's all we need.
All you need is Bill
All right.
and
well,
Mary Ellen, but Bill will tell you, yeah, no,
I'm
he's
just
amazing.
going off of that great New York Times story about
Yeah.
what they've accomplished. So this is a bit of a wish list here, but I think if we have something like this, make it available to the public and try to get the word out. Hey, we want people to come in and talk about this topic this month. We could get some public comment at these meetings.
All right, so I would say to go forward is for the March meeting, to reach out to Frank Gallo and see if he'll come. And I would, we can't have super long meetings, so I would put it towards the end so he could come later. So Tiger doesn't need to be here for these type of things.
Okay.
I know he doesn't have much to do.
How much time you think we could devote per meeting to some of these issues could take up, certainly more than an hour.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, and I don't,
Yeah, it's important to put a limit on.
yeah, we got to put,
Like a
I would,
suggested time limit on how long each person might speak and then pretty firm on.
yeah, I would literally, I would put 15 minutes that they can speak and then,
Or less.
yeah, even 10 minutes and then 10 minutes for a Q&A.
Yeah.
And then they can lead us. I would think that they could then lead us with how to, where you get the information, where should people be going to get this information?
Mhm.
And they could say, like Frank could say, you know, I'm having a bird walk at Bristow if he is, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. I mean, same with Bill McDonald, he would probably touch on, you know, pesticide usage and where to, and he'll also talk about what to plant should you want to attract. He's always big on asters to get the slugs for the fire, for the glowworms. So yeah, I would reach out to them, but I would say, I think John's right, because we are a town meeting commission. I would say, you know, have them come in for 10 minutes and then 10 minutes of talking. And then from there we can decide. And one of the things, you go on the newcanaan.info website, it says what one of the things we do. One of the things we do is supposed to put out literature from time to time. Of course, we got to think the best way to get the most amount of people to actually see it. And if we have the budget to do so. So
Mhm.
it's, it would be worth to having them in, and maybe we can collect some information from there.
And then create literature based on what we,
Exactly. But also discuss whether, what is that literature? Is it better to have something? I know previously inserts went to tax mailers, but I don't know how effective, you know, people saw those. So it needs to be discussion of how to get through, you know, information to people. Is it leaving something at the library? Is it even working with maybe a nonprofit to get the information out there, like the library's environmental coalition?
Mhm.
And that would be, to me, the greatest thing would be to then spawn something to get them to come to the library, or someone then to speak to a much larger group.
Great.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. So I would say for that, just let me know on the March 19th, and we can put it on the agenda if Frank or a Newell, a neighbor, want to come.
Okay.
To that.
So I'll work with March for bird migration.
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. And if they could, if their comments combined could be 10 or 15, 10 to 15 minutes, like, you know.
Yeah.
And
Some people will want to speak and others won't really want.
Yeah.
Are happy to share their knowledge, but
Yeah.
don't want to do a presentation. So you'll have to use your judgment.
right. And if you have ideas for,
Well, I have one suggestion, which
Sure.
is fall tree planting. Maybe we want to move that up if we can. So
sure,
people can start to think about it now. You know, it takes a while to identify a spot and a tree, and
Yeah.
you know, if you start thinking about it in mid-August, you may have missed your window.
I could move dark skies up, firefly season up to May.
Except they've already agreed, right?
No, they
Oh,
haven't
okay.
agreed on
On
dates.
time. Okay.
Yeah. I haven't reached out to McDonald's yet.
Okay.
There, okay, yeah.
Well, they have to go June, yeah.
Yeah.
Firefly has to be May or June
Yeah.
or April, okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to push it past July.
Yeah, I think the peak for firefly season starts in June and extends into July.
Correct, July 4th is like.
July
the peak.
4th is like the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even,
So maybe that should be moved up by a month. We could move up dark skies and firefly up by a month and move, or we could, do you want fall tree planting up in April?
I just think August is a little late. If you maybe moved everything up and put diversity and composting later.
Okay, sure. I can do that. And if you all, can commissioners go in and work on this document independently?
No, we're not. It's gotta be, I mean, if you want to follow FOIA, it's commissioners of the same party could do it.
Maybe public.
Yeah, it's, the way the rules are, no. Yeah, I know it's frustrating, but it's a whole FOIA issue. You can caucus with your party and that's different. But if you're different parties, we're not supposed to have meetings that aren't in the public, and that could be construed as a meeting.
You want to make this document public
Um,
so that we can all work on it?
But you'd have to make it live. public.
you'd have to make it live, and I don't think that the
It's
town.
not ready for,
Yeah, I on the web, I'm not even sure. I mean, that's something to talk to Lola Sweeney when she gets back, and how that could be done.
You know what? I think you get a really good framework right here, and we
Yeah.
can tweak it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And come back to it next month if we want to tweak again.
Yeah, so I would say like, let me know if we should be putting Frank Gallo on the March 13th calendar, because you can always reach out to me and say, hey, we just can't have a discussion when it's not on the meeting about.
Okay, so, so I'll check in with you at every meeting about what's on
Yeah.
tap for next month.
Yeah.
And we'll try to manage this in the context of our meeting conversations.
I think that's perfect.
Okay. Just checking with Tyler, is he able to come? Okay. Since Tyler's not here, Katie, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
You're like hanging out. Okay, so yeah, so I guess we go to the land acquisition fund. So people are probably aware of, there was issues on a new development on Brookwood Lane. I believe I sent out to all the commissioners the letter from New Canaan Land Trust. I just want to make sure.
Posted on the P and Z site.
Yeah, so it was on January 27th, the Land Trust sent out an email regarding Brookwood to P and Z, and about how there is right now in the subdivision rules, subdivision regulations of New Canaan, which are really set by the state, there's in 3.04 on open space, there's in section 825, every subdivision shall provide for open space in order to protect and conserve natural features, protect and conserve community resources and or cultural resources, establish green belts and other linkages that connect open spaces. And if I'm correct, Land Trust did do that with the green link that goes from Wheat Street to Nature Center, correct?
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
Provides for parks, playgrounds, and other active and passive recreation areas, supplement existing open spaces, protect or enhance local trails, and implement the open space and other recommendations in the plan of conservation and development. However, this number 2 of 3.04 is that this open space requirement may, with approval of the commission, be met through dedication of land within the subdivision or elsewhere in New Canaan, a fee in lieu of open space donation. So, and then also later on in this, it says the commission may solicit comments, the commission being P and Z, comments from Parks and Recreation Commission, the Environmental Commission, the Conservation Commission, the Board of Selectmen, the New Canaan Land Trust, or any other person or entity regarding the best method of preserving open space as part of the subdivision. What the New Canaan Land Trust letter basically said is, because I believe that Brookwood, the open space, nothing was continuous. It wasn't an open space like a bit here, a bit there. So there's nothing that's a natural pathway for animals, like or for biodiversity. So then is it really open space? So after last meeting's discussion, when we were talking about, we have these conservation easements that belong to the town, but we don't know where they are, they're not being enforced. Would it be better that the commission votes on, the vote wouldn't be today, we'd have to put the vote on the agenda, so for next month. Should the commission support going up to P and Z with our recommendation of having, rather than these conservation easements, is doing a fee in lieu for the space, and then that money would go into the land acquisition fund. We could also recommend, which is allowed in the subdivision rules, is that we could recommend the fee in lieu when we think it's better to have a fee in lieu, or to have land when it's better to have that land. So if you're, and then it gets really vague though, what P and Z does, like I'm sure. It would be up to P and Z, but it's whether as us as a commission, we want to make that proposal to them and come as a commission and say, this is what we recommend.
So what do we know about the fee in lieu?
It would be, as
10%.
far as I can tell from taking a look at the statute, it would be up to P and Z to determine what that is. Under the state statute, it can be 10% of the price of the land of the subdivision. But it's up to P and Z to decide, because you can, and you could split it with you could have a subdivision where you want 10% or 5% as an acre over here, and maybe another 5% came from the fee in lieu. So there's flexibility with regard to what they can
Right.
adopt.
The amount is,
And I think the amount is up to, yeah.
P and Z
is
as
very-
well.
Very much up to P and Z, but I think the suggestion, in this case, having looked at the proposal, the current proposal, the idea of suggesting, or the Conservation Commission suggesting a fee in lieu of the open space that's proposed, kind of resonates with me.
yeah. I mean, obviously, it can't just be like $500. It's gotta be, what it does call for in the state, and also obviously ours, is that I believe it's unless otherwise agreed to by the commission, the subdivider fee in lieu of open space procedure shall be in accordance with section 825 of the Connecticut General Statutes as amended, provided that any required appraisal shall be performed by a Connecticut certified appraiser with an MAI designation. Yeah, and the open space payment shall be placed in the fund established by the town to be used for acquiring land for open space in accordance with the purpose of section 3.04, which is currently the land acquisition fund, which came about through a town council ordinance in 2017.
Who manages the land acquisition fund?
So there's currently nothing in the fund. It is, I mean, it's managed by the town.
Okay.
It's how it gets funded is the issue. For 3 years in a row, $50,000 was put into it. And that goes through the budgeting system. So the Board of Selectmen budget then goes to the Board of Finance. And the Board of Finance can add or take out, and then it goes to town council, and town council can cut it. Town council can cut, they can't add anything to the budget. So the Conservation Commission in the past has, advocated for money going into the land acquisition fund. Money hasn't gone in. The purchase of the 2 acres next to the land trust headquarters now was purchased from, is it the first taxing district, Norwalk First Taxing District, helped with $150,000 from that fund to create a larger area of the, it's the Brown Preserve, right?
Yeah,
The Brown Preserve, I just think groups. Nothing's been added to it since, though. Since,
I think the answer is that, and so
Yeah.
that's a zero balance in there now. I
Yeah.
think the answer to where who decides, it's the town.
Yeah.
The town decides how it's dispersed. I think it would be fair for the Conservation Commission to weigh in on any ideas that we might have. And then it's up to the town to decide.
which is our role as a Conservation Commission with open
Exactly.
space to weigh in on it. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's part of our mandate.
Yeah.
And, to my knowledge, in the past, there's been a couple of situations where relatively modest amounts from the town have been levered to acquire much larger kind of parcels with other donations from private individuals and others. So it's kind of like a good efficient use of money, or at least it has been in the past. So no guarantees in the future, but having some money in that fund that is accessible when it's needed,
Mhm.
right? Because these parcels here and there come up, I suspect, opportunistically, right? And so being able to kind of have the town in a position to acquire things is kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, I think even though there's money in it, it's not like we can just access it or give it to, we can give the money to land trust because they're buying land. But I think especially with all the with the water company sale and some of the, whether the water land is going from classified 3 to classified 2, or other way, which then could be sold if you're in a position to buy rather than already have money in that account. So I think, having a little bit of open space here, which probably is not going to be, in my opinion, no one's going to be enforcing the rules and then it just becomes someone's lawn. Because they may not even know, the homeowner may not know. It's not like it's their, a fence around it saying open space.
Mhm.
I think as the commission, I would vote for and we'll put this on the agenda as the vote for next month, is, just a straw poll as I would vote for it. Because I think it might be better to have that money, and then especially working with McCain Land Trust, once we build it up, if an opportunity arises, we could, the town could get open space through land trust, which might be more important, or might be more intact, so to speak. That's my feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the land that's proposed in the subdivision is choppy and there's a little bit here, there's a little bit there, and it's not contiguous to other existing open space, and it's
Yeah,
gonna have minimal use to the
Yeah.
town residents, I think.
yeah.
And most of it will be blocked by fencing,
It could,
you know. But the question about our involvement in the P and Z discussions and our involvement on the other side with how the,
any acquisition, yeah.
yeah. Look, we don't currently have any kind of mechanism for being a part of those discussions or knowing when they're happening. Is
Well, the P and Z, so what we would do as a Conservation Commission is if, we vote on this and it passes, what we do is then, and we have to put that vote on the agenda, give people 24-hour notice, so if there's public comment,
okay.
we would then go to the Conservation Commission, reach out to Dan Radman, who's
P&Z.
P and Z.
P and Z, and then go to their meeting and during public comment, say, I would go and I would say representing the Conservation Commission, we've, write a letter to them and then say, we voted on this and we think this is for the best. And Land Trust, obviously, of course, in the documents, they're saying that P and Z should take public, comment from Land Trust, Board of Selectmen, and us, and Environmental Commission, which we don't have. So, yeah, so as a commission, we should vote next month if this is something we want to do.
I think we should put it on the agenda.
Yeah, for a vote. All right, I don't know how Susan feels about it. We might have a new commissioner by next month. I'm not sure. So we'll go from there. And Katie, I have not heard back from Tiger, so he's stuck in a meeting. So
Okay.
he said he was going to try to make it. So let's just go to the agenda. Okay, Katie. I'm so sorry, Katie. The redeemable can shed update. Do you want to just?
Right. So last time we were here, Tiger had approved up to 8 feet in width for a shed.
Yep.
So we have a quote. We have the shed that we want to order. It's all set to go. We have a quote. It's like $5,200, I think. Although, yes, $5,200. We're getting it from Backyard Fun up on Route 7, and
Oh, yeah.
so they'll deliver it. There's no, it will come fully assembled, so there's no labor on site. So, so it fits into the parameters that Tiger gave us, which is it's within the 8 feet, the 12 feet he had also approved, and we won't need to do any building of it on site, which Tiger requested. So I think it hits all of his benchmarks. So we're ready to order it. I'd love to order today if I can.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah, I'll just text Tiger,
Track him down.
just give him the dimensions and the
Make sure he's
picture
got it,
and
yep.
say you want to get this. The book bins will have to be moved closer to the swap shop.
Right, this will take 4 weeks, so.
Okay.
Once we order, we have, and Tiger said that his crew could move, we don't have to have anyone come in to move the book bins, they can push them back.
They can push them back.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think we're good to go. I'll send him the text with this, I'll copy you on it, I'll send him the picture and then also a scan of the quote.
great.
That's
And then
awesome.
it's going to be a slow rollout to educate people.
Oh, real slow, like it's gonna be my redeemable shed for like 2 weeks, and then yours and everyone in here, so we can make sure that people who are bringing redeemables are doing it the right way, yeah, bringing the right things.
Right,
For
and no glass.
No glass. Yeah, it's just single serving bottles and cans for now. So they'll be separated and stored in there, and iRecycle will pick them up.
Okay.
Remind me of the cadence that they pick it up. Is that?
What's that?
Is it a weekly pickup from?
No, they really do it based, it's sort of on, they're on call, you call them.
Calm when it's
But
full.
essentially, they look for around like 25 to 30 bags worth to pick up at one time. Alternatively, if we have fewer than that and for some reason wanted to take them, they have like on Saturdays, they have mobile sites. So we've done collections before and just put the 10 bag pickup truck and
Right.
deliver them there, and they'll do it there too. So But for them to come up and pick up, it's like a 25, 30 bag.
Gotcha.
That's their sort of threshold. So
Excellent.
Because it's a,
Fantastic.
how much is the charge? Like $100 charge or something for pickup if it's,
I don't think so.
oh no, but they just, okay, they are the redemption center.
They are the redemption center. So they just give you a check on site and
Fantastic.
there you go. Yeah. So, yeah, we're looking forward to getting started. So I'll send the picture of the shed and a scan of the quote to Tiger and hopefully he's,
Move ahead with it.
I mean, he already approved all the dimensions, so I don't, it's,
Yeah, no, just give him a little heads up again.
Okay.
Thank you. And then the swap shop update was, there was talk of maybe because of the bad weather, whether to close or not, but I think people want it kept open, so. And then the food scraps. You want to talk about?
so food scraps, we, right now they get picked up from the transfer station about once a week. And we do about 1,500 pounds a week of collection and we've hit sort of maximum capacity. You know, people are being essentially turned away because the bins are full. So we've suggested moving to 2
They're not,
pickups.
they turn themselves away.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we've suggested moving to 2 pickups a week, which is more expensive. Planet New Canaan will pick up that difference. So hopefully that would, you know, allow us to pick up obviously even more food scraps on a weekly basis. And Planet New Canaan also just approved a pilot to work with South School to do a food scrap composting program there as well. So we're really hoping to up
Good
the
news.
tonnage of
That's
what we
good
can
news.
collect in town this year. I think it was January 1st, right, that the organics law went into effect. So, you know, the state is certainly pushing more food scrap composting, and I imagine that it will become even more assertive in doing so in the coming years. So hopefully we're getting a little bit ahead of it. So yeah.
What's the organic law?
So it's now requiring if you're within 20 miles of a composting facility and you produce, I forget the threshold of food scraps on a weekly or monthly basis, that you are required to send your food scraps. You're required to separate your food scraps and have them composted. So it will affect, it could even affect our schools. We don't have a sense right now. They don't know the weight that they go through on an annual basis.
But it would affect supermarkets like
Yeah.
Walter Stewart's Market, but it's not affecting them because they've already been on their own doing this without having to be forced to. So, and it's all because, you know, the incinerators are,
Defunct.
yeah, they're so, and, you know, they're at capacity or more. We're having to ship garbage out of state and food is wet and heavy. Okay, so move to twice a week. And the pay structure is that for the food scraps, so commissioners know, I know, but is that Plant New Canaan pays for the delta between the actual tipping fees for regular trash and then for the compost, and then, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So we pay the difference in that.
Gotcha.
So,
and then we pay for the extra pickup as
Correct.
well, and then the delta, I'm assuming. And then,
the delta will just increase on an annual basis with 2 pickups per week, and we'll put that.
do that, and then and then possibly cleaning of buckets.
Yes. I was actually thinking, I bet we could get them to clean the redeemable totes too.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Great, that's great
okay.
news. And I think it bodes well for the redeemable pickup too. If the,
Right.
because it's a heck of a lot easier for your typical resident to redeem their cans than it is their organics.
For
right?
sure.
So I think you'll get.
For
big-
sure.
Big pickup
We're nervous that we're gonna get
much.
like those pickle jars
Oh.
and like
Yeah, that's where the
Whatnot.
education comes in, is
Yeah.
what is a redeemable,
and
something
it's,
as a
it is
deposit.
confusing, and a lot of things that people think are redeemable or not and whatnot. So it'll be a slow rollout so that we can do it hopefully.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm trying to find information on the bill, but I can't remember, was it 26?
The organic recycling bill?
Yeah, how much was that? And I think within 20 miles is the new Milford, correct, facility? Is that?
I think so. It's gotta be right, the one that we visited, it's gotta be right on
The border of that?
yeah, it's very, we're certainly very close. And again, nobody knows, there's no methodology for,
Right, is that 20 miles? That's the crow flies or is the trend?
right, and also like, how much poundage per year is New Canaan High
Yeah.
School? They're like, we have no idea. So,
The learning process, I'm sure.
the commercial organics recycling law,
Yeah, any institution.
26 tons per year,
Okay, 26 tons per
Yeah.
year.
which is actually not like, it's not that hard to get to 26 tons. So,
Yeah, no, I think Walter Stewart's, when they give their yearly account, it's like,
yeah,
s- I shouldn't say anything because I can't remember exactly, but I'll reach out to ask them because they've done a lot with that organic.
yeah.
And it does apply to any hospital, public or independent institution of higher education, building,
Right.
correctional, entertainment.
And the tricky thing, which I would love for the Conservation Commission to sort of think about if they could, is that we constantly run into is that, so, oh my gosh, who's the garbage hauler that the town uses right now?
Oak Ridge.
Okay, so Oak Ridge is, anything that goes to the transfer station gets weighed, but when they pick up from schools, they're not weighing it. They're billing based on the number of dumpsters they have there and how many times they empty them. So there isn't a sort of intuitive way to net out the weight of the food,
Right.
which is significant. I mean, it's like 30% of the weight of municipal waste is food. So we have to figure out somehow collectively, I think, how to be like, all right, if we're really making a concerted effort to separate our organics, we should be seeing a correlative discount in our municipal hauling and our school hauling and so on. So trying to figure out how to negotiate that, as Planet New Canaan, if we're like, hello,
Right,
Oak Ridge, they're like, yeah, we'll talk to you later.
right.
But, New Canaan as a town gets more teeth as we pull more out of that. It's a lot, at this point, we pull out 1,500 pounds a week at the transfer station. If we can double that, it's a lot of weight that's coming out. Now, at the transfer station, it's different because we do weigh it and they are weighed, but, as we start to do it in other places, so.
But does the hauler have a disincentive to have that happen?
sure,
'Cause they want the
They
weight.
don't care, right?
They
Yeah.
prefer the weight, right? That's more business for them.
I mean, they just are like, we're happy to have you pull your compost out. It's not our problem. We're gonna keep billing you for the pickups. And it's even, I'd love to figure out a way for Rosie's that's composting in town. It's just an added cost for any business who does it. Walter Stewart's, it's a total added, although I'm sure they've
They meet the threshold now, the
Yeah.
new law, but
And
they were
so-
doing it on their own.
no,
before.
but I mean, they're realizing a cost. It's still a cost to them, but they're pulling down, I'm sure they're pulling down their dumpster tipping. So, but like for any small business who wants to do it, there's no, it's
The
only,
financial side, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
only from the goodness of their heart.
Yeah.
It'd be great to figure out a way that we could start to make that. more-
At least break even, if not an
Yes,
incentive,
there's gotta be some, so acknowledgement of that's staying out of the waste, so. Anyway, if you guys could noodle that too.
It says here, beginning July 1st, every K through 12 public school is required to comply with this law.
Well,
Yeah,
provided they reach the threshold, and also there's no enforcement mechanism, so.
Yeah, it says there's no fee or.
Right. So when I actually just met with New Canaan High School 2 weeks ago, and they've never heard of the law, so there's no.
I wonder if this is a Board of Ed issue? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe, yes. We are a little bit stymied on the best way to move things
Yeah.
forward with the school system. So we are excited that South School is excited to do this pilot compost program. We've been working on dishwashers or sort of pushing dishwashers in the schools and have met a fair amount of resistance and a fair amount of
And those are
lack of information.
dishwashers for,
Silverware only. Yeah. So, other schools are doing this in Ridgefield and Wilton and all over the place, and they're actually doing it and realizing a cost savings within months. Like its return on investment
Oh, wow.
is significant. So we'd love to get some ideas on how to push that forward. We haven't been met with open arms on that one. So,
Excellent.
no.
So-
And Plant New Cane will be paying for the South School trial.
oh yeah.
pilot.
Love to hear how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear how it goes too. Yeah, should be exciting. So
Okay.
that's where we are.
Right. So yeah, I would say just get that to Tiger and then
I'll send it to him right after this.
he is the person. So we can bring up, I think next week, next month when Tiger's here, regarding the new law
Okay.
and what needs to be done or what's supposed to be done. And we'll go from there. We'll also have a vote on the agenda regarding our position as Conservation Commission for a fee in lieu, and then bring that to the P and Z. And then we'll also, and if you want to send me information, if Frank Gell is able to come and have him as a speaker.
Sure.
Okay,
You have his
Um,
contact information.
you just reach out to the Nature Center.
Okay.
They'll,
Mentions on the website.
yeah, you can just call them and they'll get you over to him. Okay, I would say it is now 12:58. I move to adjourn the meeting. Second by John Cusack. All in favor? All right, thank you.
Let me join you guys again.